Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the 2-3 Zone, the Tony's Picks YouTube channel's coverage of the WNBA with Ron Crawford. I'm Ramon Scott. We got a four-pack of games for Friday. Ron, great call on Wednesday night with the Golden State Valkyries. You called it. You called them practically on the money line there. So a
Yeah.
great job in that one. And you also brought home the Sparks. I think it's fair to say when we were on the air, look, the spread went up clearly there in that game. The Sparks were the one that got the money for most bettors here. We record our show a little bit early, but we talked about that line movement there. So two great calls for you. Hey, I brought home a winner with the Dallas Wings on
You did?
Wednesday as well. So we got a great card though. Friday night action here, mostly here on the West Coast. I bet you're ready for
Mhm.
it.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I tell you, let's get to it.
All right, let's do it then. We do have one earlier start here with Connecticut taking on Minnesota. The Lynx are a 14-point favorite here over struggling Connecticut already. The total here is a 161. Ron, the Lynx come in 3-0. Connecticut 0-2, their first road game, so it's not going great for the Sun.
Yeah, 3-0, 2-1 to the spread. Like I said, Dallas got their payback last night. But with the great defense that Minnesota displays, and with no scoring for Connecticut, I'm gonna look at the under in this one. And the under is actually 14-6 in Minnesota's last 20 home games. So give me the under in that one.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here. I'm going to try to come in with Connecticut, and hopefully they'll get this program turned around. Remember, it was just, yeah, it's a complete roster revamp, but remember, these two played a pretty, for WNBA standards here, an epic playoff series. Remember, in the semifinals last year, the Minnesota ended up winning 3-2 in that critical fifth game. I know we're a long ways away from that. Minnesota had their 2 wins over the Dallas Wings. I think we see a little bit of upgrade in the Wings, so give Minnesota credit for that 3-0 start. You mentioned they're 2-1. Connecticut 0-2, 0-2 against the spread as well. Man, Pete Call, you're just terrific, obviously, right now.
Hmm.
And Courtney Williams had those big points down the stretch. It was a close game against Dallas. Give Dallas a lot of credit in that game. They were trying to pull off an upset there with a late surge. So I'm going to go ahead and try Connecticut. I'm getting 14 points here. I think some of these weaker teams have been hanging in there second, third go round a little bit. I'm going to try them here with plus 14
And
in
we could
this.
see Anisha Morrow playing actually tomorrow night, so she might be on the floor. I know Kayla McBride is still out for personal reasons for Minnesota, but that's the only injuries updates that I see right now.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of injuries here, we have Golden State taking on LA, and for the Sparks, Rakia Jackson probably missing here in this one. But I'll say it again: you called it, but no doubt, Ron, the Valkyries benefited from the debut of Salon there, the French star, making her debut in that last game. A big contributor, yeah. Veronica Burton is she's definitely a WNBA star here in the making. It feels like, if she hasn't been already a fine player, but man, she's really leading this Valkyries team. Did a great job in that game. It was a complete turnaround for the Valkyries in that surge past the Mystics as a dog. And for LA, they lost to Phoenix, but they did get the cover
Yeah.
in an 89-86 game, as we mentioned. So what do you have in this one? LA is favored by 10, the total 160.5.
Yeah, we saw this one opening night, right? So it's kind of a rematch here. Tiffany Hayes is out now. That's gonna make a big difference for the Valkyrie. She got busted in the nose or something happened. But I'm gonna look at Kelsey Plum and the Sparks. I like that. I like this team. We saw them what they did in Phoenix, and we called that one. But I'm gonna look at the Sparks to really lay it on the Valkyrie at home.
And we saw her waving to the. She was okay, but definitely took
Yeah,
a
yeah,
shot to
she's
the face.
out. Yeah, she's
Smiling,
gonna be
waving
out.
to the crowd, even though she had a towel on her face
Yeah.
there with that awkward incident, certainly there. Uh, so, for me, Ron, you're taking the Sparks here to get it done again. I'm going to go over then here in this one. Look, I know it was a real clunky so far, and the Valkyries have gone 2-0 to the under so far, and well, the Sparks are 1-2 to the under. But I'm going to look at this one second time go around. I am impressed right now with what I saw. I don't think the Valkyries are ready to just go for the playoffs here just yet. But man, big difference so far. And Kayla Thornton too, right?
Right,
Also
right.
pretty well here. So I'm not saying it's a one person show for LA right now with Plum. She's doing her best to keep everybody involved here, but
Yep.
I'll go ahead and take the over 160 and a half and definitely need to see some improvement on the offensive production from the Valkyries here, but I'll try that familiarity factor too that they've already played and say that helps them offensively here rather than defensively. All right, continue on right now with well, maybe a pretty hot matchup all of a sudden here, Ron, with the Washington
Hmm.
Mystics taking on the Las Vegas Aces. Look, the Mystics might be overachieving so far. They're 12.5 point dogs here, and the total 164. But man, got to be pretty impressed with what they've done so far, especially the play of Brittany Sykes. And I don't know, so far I'm really impressed by Kiki. Iria Fenn, a former USC star, really
Right. Yeah.
here so far for Washington. I think there's no doubt this team may be on the improve. It's still a tall order here against the Aces.
No, Washington is a good team, and we caught them in the right spot against them last night, because it's probably a good look ahead because they did not look like they wanted to be in this game at all at Golden State. I think it's a look ahead spot. You look at the Washington Mystics; they're actually 7-1 their last 8 on the road, and guess what? That one was last night. So
Mm.
yeah, 7-1 on the road. I'm taking the Mystics plus the points. I know that Vegas just blew out. I mean, really just destroyed them. And we had that one as well as my best bet. But this one, I look for. It looks like Washington was looking ahead. They're not a bad team. You know, we don't want that overreaction. Oh, they played the Valkyrie. Oh, and they almost, oh, they couldn't even hang with the Valkyrie. Well, guess what? They're going to hang with Vegas tomorrow night, I do believe. So I would take the points plus the Mystics there.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the blowout. It was 87-62 over Connecticut
Yep.
as Wilson had 22 and 10, and Jewel Lloyd was practically perfect in her
Yep, she finally
distribution.
showed up. I was waiting to see how that was going to work with Chelsea Gray and all that because there's a lot of ball
Yeah, and I
presence
don't know
there,
if
if
it
you
was a
will.
WNBA rumor mill or maybe it was a little bit in the media. They were kind of, I think they're just trying to tell Jewel that she is a superstar. I think they were
Hmm.
kind of not hard on her, certainly, but I think the other players were kind of pushing her to say, hey, you are one of the best players
Yep.
in the league, and that's why you're on this team. And maybe she was just a little bit tentative early on, but right now, Lloyd looks fully in command of running the show, and that's what they need when you have all those stars around there as well. Washington had those wins, of course, over Atlanta and Connecticut, but man, also, Chelsea Gray. I don't want to give all the credit to Lloyd there. Gray, though, certainly too. But I'll
Yes.
go under here in this one with
I
Washington
like
and
that.
LA at 164 in this one. Washington's been, putting up some points for sure, but this is going to be a little bit different here in this one. I agree with you though. I think it's a single digit game here.
Yeah, I think they were looking ahead. I really do. I think they said, "Oh, we got the Valkyries, then we got Vegas next." Yeah, I think they were looking ahead.
And I thought they could win that one, but don't take them too lightly. Even this Golden State
Remember,
team.
they beat the Dream, and the Dream are pretty darn good. So don't Dream went into Indiana and beat them. So of course we got the rematch tonight. We'll see what happens there. But
And
yeah,
Ron, here I've made it tough on you those first three games. Let's get to a competitive game. Those are all double-digit spreads here. How about Phoenix taking on the Seattle Storm here? And Phoenix not only fast starting this season with a 2-0 record, Ron, but fast starting. It feels like in their games they want to get out there and go. It feels like a little bit in this one, and then maybe that's not the way Seattle likes to do things.
mm-mm.
Seattle's a 2.5 point favorite at home. Total 156 and a half.
Let me reiterate, so nobody in comments bashes me again. Seattle at home. We love Seattle at home. Remember what they did when Seattle went out to Phoenix and what Phoenix did to them. Well, this is a payback right here, at home, playing with revenge. I think Seattle just runs them off the floor in big time. I really do. So give me Seattle in this one.
All right, and in Phoenix, they didn't get the money we know in that game against LA, but they still did a nice job to get the win. And Phoenix 2-0. Let's give them credit for that so far. Seattle won at Dallas 79-71. They covered 3.5 points there in a pretty solid under there, but I don't know. I'm going to end up on the over here in this one. Look, Sabali had 25 points in that last game. Alyssa Thomas looking pretty good as well. With this one down here at 156.5. I get it because Seattle will try to bust you down a little bit, but like I said, Phoenix, I feel like they want to get out there and go quickly early in the games right now. We'll see if they can do that against a good team like Seattle on the
Well, they
road.
owned the 59 points the first game. That ain't happening again. Not in Seattle anyway.
No, I got to agree. So run on Phoenix there, and I'll take the over. All right, and that's going to do it for our WNBA coverage here on a 4-game slate on Friday night. And Ron, what's going to be going on this weekend? We know we're going to be loading up here on some WNBA over at Tony'sPicks.com.
Yeah, definitely. I say I still got my package for sale. You can get that right now. My WNBA 3-point play daily. You'll get one of my best plays right now. Hitting 8-3 right now, up almost 500 units right now. Number 1 on the board again. So hopefully we can keep it that way.
All right, sounds good. And I'll be over there as well with some picks this weekend. We'll be with you here for next show as well, previewing our WNBA action, but also have picks over there in Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and other sports as well over at Tony'sPicks.com. Make sure you check Ron and I out over there, as well as all the great cappers. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off our premium pick packages over at Tony'sPicks.com.
Pair us up. We're doing great in the WNBA. We're doing great in soccer. You know, the soccer's coming down to the final weekends here. So grab that before it goes away because we've been red hot this year. So pair me and Ramon up. Soccer, WNBA, we're hitting them all. So let's go.
Yeah, join us over there for our premium picks. Remember, you get these packages from Ron and I, and if we don't show a good performance with our picks, you'll get your credits right back to come up with some other cappers, or maybe just join us again. We'll stay hot. We're on those leaderboards over there, so it's always a good experience, a winning experience over at Tony'sPicks.com. All right, for Ron Crawford, I'm Ramon Scott. This has been the 2-3 Zone. Thank you for joining us.
Good luck.